data training by the IHS Stars of Strength and implemented by OVL Foundation and Kratos Sustainability Consult Limited. I'm new to another data science class session where we'll be taking a look at our Python programming. My name is Abayomi Okunola, joining from NASA for Labs. It's Moses, Esther, and Tolu. Yeah. Praise, Steve, Ibitayo, Esther, Ifesinachi, Elijah, Yusuf, Mitchell, and Josephine. All right. Okay. So if I may confirm, how has they been going and how has lectures been so far for us? I just need about one or two persons. Okay, welcome Esther. One or two persons to unmute their mic and tell us how learning has been going so far. Okay, I can see Daniel's hand raised. You can unmute Daniel.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. The learning has been smooth and
welcome.
good.
Tell us your name.
Okay,
tell us your name and where you're joining from, okay?
Okay, I'm joining from Umuahia in Abia State.
All right. How is Umuahia today?
Yeah, Umuahia is cool. Rainy as always.
Okay.
So I have not been able to access the lesson for Monday. As the link being shared, it's only the document that I've been able to access. But the full class, I've not been able to access.
Okay. So the class material has been shared. So concerning the recording, that's been worked on. Okay.
Okay.
So, but you can always flow through with the lessons in class. Yes, that has not been shared. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Over to you, Dorcas.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Sorry. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yes. So, yeah, I had learning has been going pretty well, yes, too. But I think I joined this morning and my network was really shitty. So I know I definitely need to join the second session so that I can get a better understanding of what we explained this morning. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, I see Ahmed. Okay, Ahmed, you can proceed. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed. You can unmute your mic and speak. Okay, your hand is raised. Hello, Ahmed. Okay, I guess we can just pull through from here. Okay, all right, over to you, Steve.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so the class has been fun, very informative and educative. But they said practice makes perfect. So I think maybe something I would want to suggest is if we could get questions that we could actually try our hands on relating to each what's it called now? Each of the lessons we take. So maybe we get a particular data set and then questions we can try and answer on so that we get used to the different functions and codes and syntaxes we work with. So that's my own take and suggestion.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for the feedback, Steve. So, task to work on. I believe the class has been interesting and fun so far. Okay. So why not just look around and just try to simulate something? Maybe something you do on a daily basis, for instance. So we can try to work on that. And okay, for instance, this morning I put up a task on list, right? How many of us remember list? I'm sure we talked about it in class, where I requested for the index of the morning session time. Hope I'm audible. Hope you can hear me. Just need feedback at intermittent intervals. Okay, Tulu says she wants to log in again. So who wants to speak? I'm unable to hear anything. Hello, can we all hear me? Hello, Steve.
Yes, I hear you, but it's like your line is breaking a bit. Or is it my network?
I think maybe the network is acting up this evening. But hope I'm audible now, because I need that so we can check.
Yes, you're
Okay,
audible.
you're audible now.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I'm back online, Tulu, okay? So I said the task I put up earlier today to check our learning on Python, list indexing in Python. So I can see from here. So can someone explain to us the feedback? The answer to the question. Hello? Can someone explain the answer to the question for us? Because I can see a lot of persons choose time_slots, and then we have 2 in the brackets. Hello? Let me join the mobile.
The screen.
You can't see my screen, but you're on the WhatsApp
Yes.
group, right? I dropped the chat on the WhatsApp group.
On the WhatsApp group. Oh, okay.
Yes, on the WhatsApp group. Or you'd want me to share my screen? Okay, maybe what I'll do is let me share my screen, then I bring in the code. Okay. All right, can we all see my current screen?
Yes.
All right, so let me just bring in the question I have today. Let me bring it in here. Okay, so let me comment this. All right, so I'm sure this was the question as you can see in
Okay.
on the WhatsApp chat, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then I had a variety of answers. So this is part of the task I said we're going to be creating for ourselves. So I think we had the first one. What's the value of the first one? We said 4. And then the next one, let me just copy this. The next one is 3. Then these are the 2. And then the last one, add a -2. All right, so we had option A, option B, C, D. Okay, so I want to do multi-line comments now.
Okay.
All right, so here was our task for this morning. I brought up the puzzle. So I'm sure a lot of persons went with option C. They said C is the correct answer. So can someone tell us why C is the correct answer? Full answer. Majority, I think that's 30% choose this, while 1% choose 1% selected, 1% selected this. Full answer. Let's have a majority votes. Okay, so why did the majority select this? I want to know. Can someone explain to us this? This question is, what is the index of the morning session start time?
Okay. I think majority
Please tell
selected.
us your name. Please tell us your name, and then
My
we
name is
can proceed.
Dorcas.
Dorcas,
My name is
okay?
Dorcas. Yes. Okay. So majority selected time slot 2 because of course that's the correct answer. Uh, because since the morning session start time is 9 a.m.
Okay.
and 9 a.m. is the third option here. Yeah, so 7 a.m. here, the time slot for 7 a.m. is 0. The time slot
Okay.
for a.m. is 1. The time slot for 9 a.m. is 2. 10 is 3. 11 is 4. 12 is 5. So if we have to take it from the bottom, so -1, time slot -1 will be 12 p.m. Time slot -2 will be 11 a.m. like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I can see we have a hand raised up. Josephine, I want to contribute. This is according to Dorcas. Okay. She said this is a -1. All right, Josephine. I think Josephine dropped her hand.
Okay, sorry. I think she already answered it. Yeah, like she said, indexing in a list starts from 0.
Okay.
So, 9 a.m. is, which is this start time for the morning section, is at the 3rd position. So it will be index number 2.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's run this and let's print this. Let me create a new code block and say this. So I'm running this anyway. So let's wait for it. It says character. Why this? Is it because I copied from Oh, no. Why is he not going? I'm coming. Let me just bring everything to a line. I think the character is speaking is different entirely. There's one thing about these characters. Then and okay, still giving me unprinted. Okay. Shift. Invalid non-printable character. Let's debug go. Or is this not a way to write the list again? Or let me see. That's let me see something. 12 p.m. line 8. Oops. And the time slots -2. Python and different errors day by day. Okay. Time slots 3. Okay. Let me comment these guys. Okay. I think half of the issue is solved now. Okay, so we have this. Let me just bring in this or that 3. Let's see the error is going to throw now. Okay, so I'm still certain there are some characters is not seen. Okay, I think there's this space now. Spot issue. Okay, so that ran successfully. Okay, so for time slot index 2, we have 9 a.m. So another way we can write this would be, this is -1, -2, -3, -4. So if we also select -4, I believe we are going to get the same thing. Am I correct? Hello? Hello? Whose background is not noisy? So I want to know if we are here. Today class is confusing. Class is not confusing.
We are together, sir.
We are together. Okay. Could you please stay? Okay. So I just need someone to stay unmuted. Someone should just stay unmuted so that when I'm calling, I know that someone is assisting. Someone is my backup. Okay. Swagene. Can you tell us the confusing aspects? Let me minimize my screen so you could see what we are talking about. Okay. Let me clear all this. So you can unmute and ask a question. Swagene. Sorry if I can't get that right. From the beginning, we are yet to start class actually. We're explaining our last class on Python indexing. Okay. So there was a question that was put up on the group chat this morning. So please unmute if you answered that poll, so we can know where to pick it from. You were in the last class, yes. But on the group chat this morning, a question was dropped, and I brought the question here so we could resolve it together. Were you able to attempt the poll or the poll? Please unmute your mic so we can be fast. We still have a lot to cover this evening. We have a lot to cover. Okay, so if anyone has questions now, let's ask. So before we proceed now. Okay, I said this is time slot -4. Okay, -4 still give us 9 a.m. You're reading from the back, -1, -2, -3, and then this is -4. Okay. Okay, we can continue. All right. So just hope you find your footing ASAP. All right, so good evening and welcome once again. So we'll be continuing with list. Okay. So how many of us were in the morning session? I'm sure someone in the morning session is here this evening again. So if you were in the morning session, please raise your hand. All right, Dorcas. Okay. All right. Okay. So this morning we were able to take a comprehensive look at list, which I believe now we know what a list is and how it can be implemented. Okay, so the first one here, we have a list of alphabets. We have A to F, and we have the list of Nigeria Drive data science students, Bome, Charles, Charlie, Akpos, and Udeme. Then we also have a list of items, right? Chukudi, the number 19, 1.62 SS2, Kaduna, and Heaven. So we've already prepared our list right now. However, going forward, we want to replace Charles in this list. Okay, we want to replace Charles in this list. Note that the index for Charles is what? We have Bumi, we have Charles, which is Bumi is index 0, Charles is index what? Index 1. Okay, so for you to update the list, all you need to just do is call out what's the variable, the list variable, and then you bring in the index of that list. So let's say, for instance, we want to replace Udeme now. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Udeme is 4, or we can use -1, depending on our case. So let's do 4. We'd say Udeme is equal to, permit me to use Dorcas. Dorcas, hope I'm allowed.
Of course, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now we want to print our list right now, our list of Nigeria Drive students. Mind you, before I run this cell, this needs to be run, otherwise you're going to get an error. Okay, so Python, you need to run the previous cell before the next cell. So let me run this so it can save to memory. Then let me run this. So now you'll notice that what we now have Bumi, Charles, Charlie, Akpos, and Dorcas. Dorcas is replacing what? Udeme over here. Okay, so I believe by now we should be putting down our notes and see tasks that we can do. For instance, you have a particular value you need to replace in your list. You can as well what? Do that. Okay, so can someone tell me if we want to replace Akpos, how we can proceed with that? We want to replace Akpos in this list with another name. What do we do? Akpos is at index number what?
3.
Index
Index.
number 3.
Index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. If we are not using 3, what other index can we use?
-2.
-2. That is counting from right to left. -1 is with the here. Apos is what? -2. Okay. Then which name are we replacing with? Someone should give us an option.
Victor.
Ma'am?
Victor.
Victor. Okay. Hope Victor is on the call and Victor has given us approval. Let's run this. So now you can see we now have Bumi, Charles, Charlie, Victor, then Dorcas. All right. Okay, Omalade, I can see your hand raised. Questions or
No?
comments?
Yeah.
I didn't get you, please.
I think that was earlier when I raised my hand.
Okay. All right. So hope we are following everyone. Okay. So now we've been able to see how to modify our list right now. All you need to do is check with the index number and then impute the replacement. Okay. And in the last class, we mentioned about how to append an item to a list, right? That is, if you want to add more items to your list. So here right now, they were able to add IPO to the list. Okay. So for us, let's do, and the method we call when we want to append is, when we want to add an item to a list is called the append method. Okay. So Naija U drive dot append. Okay, you can see it's a built-in function already. And I bring in my brackets. So let's append Josephine. Josephine, are we permitted?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Let's append Josephine to the list and print our Naija Youth Drive right now. Okay, so what do we have? In our earlier cell was what? Mumi, Charles, Victor, Dorcas. Now we have Josephine. Okay, so how you add items to a list is using the append method. So before we proceed, for instance, if you want to take a look at the length of a particular variable, be it your list and all that you have, you want to know the number of values that is present. Okay. You want to know the number of items in a particular list. What do? We make use of a function called len, L-E-N, len, L-E-N, len. So what does the len function do? This is it, L-E-N. You can see while writing it, I have it here. So let me over on it and see. It says it returns the number of items in a container, returns the number of items in a container. So for instance, now we have our Naija U drive students, right? So let's take a look at the cardinality. Naija U drive. So can someone see this? What's the rest? What's the feedback we got? Hello. Where is my co-facilitator this evening? Steven, you want to speak?
It shows 6.
It shows 6. Okay, so can you explain the 6?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we have 6 names in Naija Youth Drive.
Okay.
See objects now. Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. So we have our 6 items in the Naija U drive data science students. Okay, so instead of for you to start counting one by one, that okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so with the len function, it gives you the number of items in the list. Okay, So that is what we call cardinality. All right. So over here now, I'm not sure this is run to memory. Okay. Okay, so that is all about cardinality of a list using the len function. Right. So now let's take a look at the basic list operations and method. List operations and method. What other things can you perform on your list? Okay. So here now we've actually defined some particular variables here. Car here is for Toyota, which is a string because it's an entity standing alone. So you need to be able to identify the differences between all these different types of variables. Here we have a string, here we have a list, right? And this one, it's a float, okay? Floating numbers are numbers with decimal places. Like this is to what? 1.6 to that's to 2 decimal place. Okay, then we have items, okay? That is multiple strings together. For you to be able to have them this way, you need to have them in a list. So say for instance, let's check if this is going to run now. We say car equals to Toyota, okay? Yeah, I'm sure we also have which other brand of car do we have? BMW, right? Which other one do we have again, guys?
Lexus.
Honda.
Honda, Lexus, and then
Benz.
Honda. Okay.
Benz.
All right. Thank you. Pens. Okay, let me include your pens. Well, speaking of, you need to get rewarded. Okay. Now we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of cars. If we should, let's see if this can run to memory. Okay. So, all right, this run to memory. Good. But can we iterate over it? If we should say print car now, it's still going to return. It returned this for us, but we might not be able to what? Iterate over it. Okay. Are we there? So the iteration I'm talking about, when we get there, you would understand me quite well. So let me just run this to memory. So we have string, we have a list, which is embedded all together, such that you can perform the same function using your for loop and run it across. Let's run this to memory. Now, we want to have what we call list concatenation. Okay, you want to add an item to a list. You can always what? Do that. So list concatenation now. Here you could see we have car types, which is BMW, Ferrari, and Echo, right? And then we also have another list of fruits. Okay, so you can concatenate two lists together. When we talk about concatenation, it means you summing up two items together. Concatenation. Okay, you want to bring two different things together and make it what? One. So, and how do you do that? Here we have to have a variable, which is our placeholder, items equals to car types, which is a list, plus fruits. Okay. So, and how are we able to do that now? So on running this now, you'd see what we have. You can see we now have BMW, Ferrari, Echo, mango, pineapple, orange, and purple, just as we have here. So we've been able to what? Bring two types of lists together. Okay, so now let's see what happens to car and height. You know, we have car here, which is a string, and then we also have height here, which is a string. Let's see what happens. Now you can see, it says we have a what? A type error. Can only concatenate string, not float to string. So a good understanding of the data types is very, very what? Important. Okay, that is for that. Let's do for the car and car types. A car is a string, and then the car types is a what? Is a list. Let's see what we get. Now you can see it says can only concatenate string, not list to string. So that tells us that the car is a what? Is a string. And then the car type is a what? List. So when doing concatenation, you need to add up items that belong to the same group or family together. So let's check for the floating number as well and the list. We have a float, we have a list. So let's run this. What do we have? It says can only concatenate lists, not float to list. Okay. So this is very, very important. When you are doing concatenation, you do list to list. Okay. Let's run this so it could remove the errors. All right. So in the last class, we looked at dictionary. How many of us can remember dictionary? Where we're talking about a dictionary having key and value. True or not true? Where are my co-facilitators? Okay,
True.
Josephine is on call. Thank you, Josephine. Okay, so here right now we have a dictionary containing the details of a single man whom we named Ayomide as the variable. We said Ayomide info. So you notice that for dictionary, it always come in this format. Let me take this away. You have your key and your value, and then it has this curly braces. Okay, so here we have the curly brace, name, column, then Ayomide, which is the value. You have a comma, you have your age, and then you have an integer, 35, then as much as you have. Okay, so name here is standing in for Ayomide, as well as for age. Okay, age here is the key to what? To the value 35. So if we are to print Ayomide's info now, you can see what we have. So can someone tell me if I want to access the age of Ayomide, what do I need to do? So let me start with the print statement. I want to access Ayomide's age. What do I need to do? Recall the variable is Ayomide info, right?
Yes.
How do I access Ayomide's age? We discussed this in the last.
So it will be print.
Okay.
You open square brackets after the Ayomide underscore info, and
Okay.
within the brackets will be age.
Age. Okay. All right, let's test this. All right, bravo. We got Ayomide's age. Why? Because age here is the key. That is the one that gives us access to what? To Ayomide's info. All right. Okay, so dictionaries are not difficult to learn. We can always iterate over that and come up with it later on. Okay, so now moving forward, we have some items for Dockers here, which is can someone tell us what this is? Dockers items is a what? Is this a list or a dictionary?
It's a list.
It's a list. Okay, can you tell us how you're able to know it's a list? Your name, please, oh, so we can know we speak in part-time. You don't have to be checking. Where are my co-facilitators?
I think it's a list because of the square bracket.
Okay, the square brackets. Okay, this and this. All right. Okay, how about the next line where we have Dorcas underscore shopping? What do we have there?
That's the dictionary.
Okay, we said this is a dictionary. Do we all agree?
Yes,
Why do you agree?
because it has a key value. What?
Okay, it has the keys and value. Okay. Please let me call you Ogene. Okay, hope that is fine. Averuso Ogene. Let me call you Ogene for this class, please. You have the floor. You can unmute and speak.
Okay, I wanted to answer the question before.
Okay, you answer the question. It's nice hearing your voice.
Okay, my name is Awel Swagene.
Okay.
The answer is a dictionary. Why I
Okay.
choose dictionary is that it stores item name as key and their price or quantity as values.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So now we've been able to see that, okay, we have a list and a dictionary. Two different ways to know. Each values are standing separately. Okay. Then it has a square bracket. That is a list. But when you are seeing a key and a value and the curly braces, that is a dictionary. Okay. Moving forward. Now let's run this to memory. We want to access the keys in Dorcas shopping. Okay. So if you want to access the keys, all you need to do is just print Dorcas shopping.keys. Okay, and you have your brackets, then you'll be able to get the keys now. So the keys there are dish, biscuits. Okay. We have pencil, standing fan. Let's add one more item to this list, to this dictionary rather. Let's say noodles. Noodles is I think 300. Let's just add it that way. All right. So let's run this dictionary. So our list, the dictionary keys now, you can see we have dish, biscuit, pencil, standing fan, and noodles. So if we want to see the respective values, how do we do that? We would call the value. We'll say dockers.shopping.values. And mind you, when we add the print here, you could see we have what? Dict underscore what? Keys. That shows that this is the key. And the next one we have what? Dict underscore values. That shows that what? We have the values here. Okay. So you've been able to break down the dictionary into two parts: the keys aspect and then the values aside. Okay. All right. So moving forward, we want to have the keys as a list. How do you do that? What you need to do is apply the list. Okay. Apply list function. So that is, you have something as a dictionary key here over here. Here you are having dictionary key. However, you want to convert it to a list. How do you convert it to a list? Okay, let me say applying the list function now. Let's call this one A. Okay. I've run A to memory, right? Let me come to the next line and say, okay, print A for me. Now you would notice something. Yeah, I now have what? A list over here, right? Because I've been able to apply the list function to convert the dictionary key. Because when we printed this, it was showing us what? Dict keys, right? And here now we are having what? It as a list right now. The dict keys is no longer what? Showing. Okay, I hope we got that. Where are my audience? Where are my fellow teachers? I hope we got that. Please let's respond. The chat box is open. You can unmute your mic. We are here to collaborate together. Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, so same thing for the Dorcas shopping items as well. We need to work on this. We want to convert the dict values. Okay, sorry. We want to convert values as well. You can also apply the list function. Now, if you want to access your dictionary, okay, as a whole, we make use of the what? The items function. That is, we want to see what is in our dictionary. So let me bring this out and run it at the top. Let me have my code block. So if I should run Docker shopping.items, it's going to show us dictionary items. So we can see we have dict items, we have a square bracket, and then we have a what we call a tuple. We have tuple 1, tuple 2, tuple 3, tuple 4, and then tuple 5. However, if we want to convert these dictionary items to a list, you also apply the what? The list function. Okay, so on applying the list function now, you can see dish and 100 is grouped together because they belong to the same family. Okay, so now I'm sure we're asking if elif and else statement, where do we apply it? As data scientists, we apply it in so many facets, okay, depending on the problem statements at hand. So we'll be taking a look at how we do feature engineering and data processing with list, using list, okay? Sorry, using the conditional statement. All right. So I think in the last class we did justice to this. So for feature engineering and data processing, here we have a list of 3 Nigerian dishes, okay? From the 3 most dominant tribes in Nigeria. So we need to write a program that checks if the dish selected or imputed is from any of these tribes. Okay, so I'm sure maybe after this, many of you can go ahead and develop like your ATM. You know, when you visit the ATM, it asks you certain questions before you proceed. If it's true, you proceed, and then if else, after requesting for an input from you. Okay, so here we have created a list of dishes: Yoruba dish, Hausa dish, and Igbo dish. And then the next thing we did was to create an entry point for the food items. So when we're talking about entry points here, how do you create an entry point? You request for an input from a user. Okay, so now let me say, just a second. Okay, so let's create an entry point using impute function. All right, so here now would say, let's say hello world. Hello world is equals to impute. Let's see, I already brought it out and say is requesting for a prompt right now. Let me say, what is your name? Okay. Then let me run hello world. So now this is an entry point. You'd see it's running. So I'm requesting for an input. It says input, what is your name? So let me say Yusuf. Let me do who is on the call that is answering us this evening. Let me pick Esther. Now, can you see what it gave? It says, what is your name? Then I inputted Esther. Then it printed what? Esther. Okay. So that is the input. I mean, it's going to make a request. You know, when you visit your ATM machine, it tells you to input your what? Your card. From there, it requests for your what? For your PIN. If the PIN is valid, what does it do? It proceeds to the next stage, right? Whereby it asks you a variety of questions on the type of service you want to do, right? Do you want to make a withdrawal? Do you want to recharge? Or do you want to make a transfer? Okay, so this is an explanation of the input function over here. All right, so let's proceed now. We've defined the list of dishes we have in the respective tribes. Okay, then we created an entry point, which is a dish. We now said, oh, we want to define the if, elif, or else statement. If dish in Yoruba dish, print ejo, collect your food. Else, if the dish is an Hausa dish, what should they do? They should tell us, welcome, you are an Hausa man, Abi. And then if the dish is an Igbo dish, is an Igbo dish list, it should print Indewonuho, okay? Or else it will print you are a foreigner. I hope we got this. Hello, I need feedback.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now let's run this script. Let's run this. Now we have a request. It says enter a dish name. So which dish name are we going for? Hello.
Amala.
Which Amala? Okay. Amala. So I've inputted Amala. I'll press my enter key. Now the print statement was what? It says what? Ejo, collect your food, right? So because it found Amala in Yoruba dish, that was why it proceeded. So if I should run this again, do we have rice on this list? Do we have rice here?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Right.
No.
Let's try rice and see what it's gonna give us. What did it say? It says, oh, you are a what? Foreigner, right?
Right.
So that is the importance of your if, else if,
Statement.
and your else statement. I mean conditionals, because from henceforth, this is what you'll be working with. If you do not get this, okay, try this. If this is not working, okay, do this. If this is fine, then do this. You know, it will get to a certain time when you are using the ATM and then you keep clicking and clicking. It has to what? Take you back to the previous option. And then before you what? You proceed further ahead, okay, or further ahead. Now, we've been able to take a look at this. And here right now, we want to do, instead of us having Yoruba dish, Hausa dish, and Igbo dish all separated, okay, we can now do what we call list concatenation. How many of us remember list concatenation? So what we did up here, whereby we had to what? Bring in car types and what? And fruits. That is called list concatenation, to make it a single list. Okay. So how do we achieve that? All we needed to do was what? bring in Igbo dish plus Yoruba dish, and then the Hausa dish together. And we now said, okay, let's call these Nigerian foods now. Nigerian foods. Okay. So on running this now, it's going to give us everything all together. We would have Egburu, Okpa, Akpu, salad, Abacha, Fufu. Then we have Amala, Ewedu, Iyan, Eba, Nunutuwo, Gbegiri, and Shinkafa. Okay, so that's the list concatenation. Moving on, let's take a look at Olu. So here we want to look at how a scenario whereby we want to store Shubomi's expenses in a list and then try to find out his total expenses. Okay, so I'm sure this is not complex. Or do we have okay, I can see Daniel raising up his hand. So please just speak so I don't have to be checking the chat area often. Just unmute and speak. Over to you, Daniel.
Sorry, sir. The conditional statement, do they work the same as the ones in Excel, like the if and the nested if in Excel?
Yes. Once you understand the logic for the if statement in Excel, then you also apply it to your Python programming. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Does that suffice, Mr. Daniel? Hello, Mr. Dan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so moving forward, we have a task here. It says store Shubomi's shopping expenses in a list and then try to find out his total expenses. So now, Shubomi has gone to the supermarket. Shubomi bought shoes worth 5,000, standing fan worth 25,000, biscuits worth 500 naira, an iPhone worth 25,000. I'm sure maybe this is an iPhone case. Okay. Let me call this. And then a wristwatch worth 15,000 naira. How do we get the values? Yeah. How do we get to sum up the items? Recall in a dictionary. Sorry. In a dictionary, we have a key, which will what? Value. Okay. So shoe is a key. Why value is this? So if we want to get this right now, okay, what do we do? First thing first, we have our Shubomi expenses to be this. Let me bring this out so you can see the line by line code I'll be writing. So we have Shubomi expenses. Let me run this so it takes me to the next cell. Okay, so Shubomi expenses is shoe and haul, right? However, if we need to get this right now, remember I said dictionary contains what? Key and value, right? Key and the value. So we'll call Shubomi expenses dot what? Dot values. All right. Let me run this. You can see now we have dict values, which is 5,000, 25,000, 500, 25,000, and then 15,000. These are the values. However, the scenario gave us that what? Store Shubomi's shopping expenses in a list, and then we should find out is what? Is total expenses. Okay. All right. So what do we do from here? We have the values already. This is still a dictionary value in a tuple now. How do we convert it? We'll convert it as what? Using a test to convert it to a list. Okay, so Shubomi expenses. So you notice what this is going to give us now. Oh, sorry. I have to bring in the dot values here. Already ran something to memory. That's why I was giving that. Now this is Shubomi expenses as what? As a list right now, no longer a dictionary value. So from henceforth, we can now say, okay, we want to start the summation of all to get the total, which is why we now have total equals to what? Start calling them out one after the other. Shubomi expenses at index 0 plus Shubomi expenses at index 1. Let me just copy this so as to save our time because we still have more to cover. Shubomi expenses at index 1, at index 2, at index 3, and at index 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So that's why we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So let's see the total now. Why is this not going? Okay, so the reason why this is not going is because it says a key error 0. It's because this Shubomi expenses was not saved here. I mean, the list we're trying to access is not available in memory. So let me replace it with this and see what we have. So now you can see we now have what? 70,500. However, I'm sure you're going to see that this is a very long way to go. I mean, if Shubomi were to have gone to the supermarket now, you know, all those store receipt that is always long and long, you still have to print like multiple pages. How do we undo that? A very quick way to undo that is using our for loop. Okay, for loops, which iterates over what we have in our list. Okay. All right, Esther, do you have a question? I can see your comment here. So I have to be checking through the chat to just say we are good. Hello, Esther Dada. Okay, no feedback means we are good to go. All right, so if we want to use a for loop right now. Okay, so here now, we've been able to see picking it out one after the other. However, if we want to use a for loop for this, all we just need to do is what? Just write a simple 4-line code to iterate over it. Okay. So first, you define your total, which is to 0 at the initial stage, right? And here we already have this Shubomi expenses as a list. Okay. So let me bring this up here so you can see Shubomi expenses. If I should run it, you see that what I have it as a list of 5,000, 25,500, 25,000, and 15,000. Then I mentioned that when you want to do your iteration for using for loop, all you need to do is what? Just say for a particular iterator, which is your variable. You can call it anything. You can call it I in the list. Then it should perform certain operation, which is total equals to total plus expenses. That is, every time it keeps iterating over the loop, it will give what? It will come back with the total here. So if I should run this, I have it as what? 70,500. So what this does is for this value in this value, it gives it out. Maybe I should just do this for expenses in expenses. Okay, so let me tell it to print the expense. Okay, So now you'll notice something here. I said it should look through Shibumi expenses and print each and every value. So it printed 5,000, 25,500, 25,000 and what? 15,000. However, over here, because I needed to perform an operation, which is what? The summation of all the items Shibumi bought from the store. Okay, that was why we had what? So it will pick in the first one. So total is here, and then the total here will be what? 0 plus the expenses. Then it sums up everything all together and it prints the final result. Okay. Do we have any question? I see we still have more persons joining the call. Okay, so just a quick one to put in case if you have any questions or comments, the group will be open this evening so we can ask our questions. Okay, I'm in the WhatsApp group chat. Where are my fellow co-facilitators? Are we on point? Okay, all right. Thank you for that feedback, Dorcas.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next thing we'll be moving to functions. Okay, so I'm sure you might be asking why function? What is a function? You see, when you want to perform a certain step, okay, multiple times, instead of you to start rewriting the code one after the other again, you can actually what? Define your function and make it what? Reusable. So what is a function? A function is a reusable code. Okay, a function is what? A reusable code. So you don't have to start creating it all over from the scratch again before you start what? Implementing. Okay, so have we worked with functions before now? Hello.
Hello, sir. In my case.
Okay,
Yeah.
no. All right. So I'm going to show you when it comes to function, you need to create it, and then later on you call the function. That is, you don't want to be repeating certain steps again. Then a function is in 3 stages. Okay, the first one is the definition of the function alongside with the parameters it's going to accept. Then inside it, you will have certain things that you want to be handled. Okay, and then which is the body. And then lastly, you're going to have what we call the return statement. Okay. All right, so let's proceed. Now, how do we bring in a function? The first thing is to what? To define our function. Okay, so let me just create a simple one here first. All right, so say for instance, we want to greet each and everyone on this call right now. Okay, so to create a function, you start with the word def. Okay, to define a function, you start with what? Define. In your function grid, you need to have it some certain parameters. You need to have some certain parameters. So let me call it name. Okay, let's not use name. Let me say ds underscore student. All right, then you have a column Now, this is the first phase. The first phase is to define your function. You have your what? DEF statement. Then you have the parameter or the variable you want that function to accept. Okay, then you tell it to what? To return, use the return statement now, which is the result you want it to print. Okay, or you can use a print as well. Okay, so use the return statement. Let's use a print here. You say print hello. Hello DS student. Okay, so if I want to add what we call string formatting now, let me bring in the F over here and say boom, 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 DS underscore student. Okay. All right. So if I should run this to memory now, okay, and say I want to greet a whole lot of students now. So I'll just say greet, who have I not greeted this evening? Let me check. Okay, greet praise. Let me say greet praise. Okay. All right, so can we see what we have now? It says hello dear students, praise, because I'm trying to what? Greet praise over here. So now let me greet another student. Who do I greet next? This is where I need you guys to unmute. Who do I greet next?
Yusuf.
Hello.
Dorcas.
I should greet Dorcas. Who mentioned Dorcas? Let me greet you too.
Elijah.
Okay, Elijah mentioned Dorcas. Dorcas now mentioned Elijah. Nice one. So we greet Elijah. All right, so it says, hello, dear student Elijah. So you can see how functions are powerful. So if I should go to even the bottom of the code right now and just call greet, let's greet Dorcas now. Dorcas, okay? Now it says, hello, dear student Dorcas, because I already have what we call what? A function in memory. So I do not need to start writing everything from the scratch again and say, oh yeah, hello, dear student, greet so person. Okay, so you can see the beauty of what? Functions. So the functions is divided into 3 stages. You have the function definition, whereby you give it, you start with the DEF statement, your function name, and then the parameter, which is the variable is going to accept, and then you have the body and then the return statement. Okay. Now we've been able to explore this, right? So now for our Shubomi's expenses we are trying to look at earlier on, we already have what? We made use of a for loop. Okay. Now, if we also want to do the same thing for Shayo, we want to confirm how many, we want to confirm the total price for Shayo's expenses. You know, we don't have to start going through the stress of writing, converting to lists, extract the values one after the other before we do the calculation. So we can do that with a what? With a function. So over here, we said define the function. We said def total expenses, you have in brackets expenses. Then we said, oh, total equals to 0. And then for expense in expenses, your total equals to total plus expenses. So one thing I always advise is this: before you start writing your function, it is very, very important, okay, that you try them out. Okay, you try them out first before bringing them, because once your code is perfect, just like this one, we already tested this out, and then it gave us the excellent result. Even if we were to calculate manually, okay, give us the excellent result, then you can now pass it into your words function such that you don't have to start writing it one after the other. So over here right now, you would notice that we have return. Okay, we have return. So in most cases, when you don't want to print to screen, the reason why we print to screen is if we want to see results. But if you don't want to see the results, okay, I mean being printed over here on your ID for you, that is when you use the return statement. Okay, so now let's run this function to memory. We have it in memory now. So we want to use it for Shayo's expenses now. Recall Shayo's expenses has been defined over here. Okay, we have Shayo's expenses. Then let's run this function. Then call it for Shayo's expenses. We have total underscore expenses. Then we have Shayo expense. Okay, but mind you, when you are writing your Python code, indentation really matters. Okay, indentation really what matters. We can't emphasize that. We need to emphasize that over and over. So if I want to work on use the function for Shayo's expenses now, let's see if it's gonna work. Sorry, Shubomi rather. This is Shubomi's expenses. Can you see we have 70,500 for Shubomi? All right, so let's create a simple function that calculates the expenses of Naija Youth Drive student. Then Naija, let's say Naija Youth. Okay. Oh yeah, you guys should give me numbers. How much have you spent on data today?
25.
25. Okay. Another person.
5,000.
5,000. Okay. Another person. Let's do another 25. That makes it what? 10,000, right? Then let's add another 1,000. So now we already have this list. So instead of us to start doing the calculation for the other again, I'll just call the function. Total expenses for Naija Youth is how much? Ordinary calculation has given us what? 11K. So if I should run this, what do we have? 11,000 naira. Isn't that excellent? So we have our functions working as what expected right now. So a function is a reusable code that helps us to perform certain operations without doing them more and more. Okay, without having to run them again and again. I hope that's fine.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So no question from anyone. Okay, Esther Dada is clapping. Okay, just a minute, please. Moment. Okay, so now in case we want to try our hands on multiplication, okay, we have a function that takes in two arguments and multiplies them. Okay, so let's improve this to even say 3 variables, say A, B, C. Then we have our value, which is A multiplied by B multiplied by C. Okay, so then we say def multiplication. You open your bracket, A, B, and C. You say, okay, I want you to perform this operation. So this is the body. This is the body. Okay, then the final return statement. So You run this to memory. Note, you must always run your function to memory. Now, I want to do something here now. Recall, I gave 3 what? Parameters here, which is A, B, and C. But here I'm returning only what? Only 2. Let's run this and see what it's going to give us. What did he say? What do we have here? Can someone tell us what we have? I'm waiting for also.
Yeah, missing one parameter.
We are missing one parameter. May I confirm who just spoke?
Josephine.
Okay, Josephine, co-facilitator. Thank you very much. So because we are missing a parameter here, it says type error, multiplication, missing one required positional argument, which is C. Okay. All right. So let's add a value to this. 4 times 6 is what? 24. 24 times 2 is what? Let's find out. Is it correct? Hello.
It's correct.
It's correct. Okay, thank you very much. So you can see the power of functions now. So in case you want to multiply any other value right now, you can always what? Just call the function. Okay. Let's bring in other values here. Let's do 1 times 1 times 1. What will it give us?
1.
1. Who said that? Who said 1?
I'm sure it's praise.
Ma'am?
I mean, I was right.
You're right. Okay. Let's confirm your 1, bro. We have one here, no 1. Where did you get your 1 from? Okay. So let's try 1 times 0 times 1. What will it give us?
0.
0. Why 0? Why 0? So it actually returns 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Okay. So we are doing basic mathematics with Python now. So I'm sure you are appreciating programming. So far, so good. Okay. All right. So if we want a function that displays a welcome message, okay, for the birthday party, I'm sure we host parties than any other thing these days, right? All right. So we have a function that takes in a name. It says, okay, Dev birthday welcome. You have the name and you say, okay, welcome statement is A. You give a space and you say plus the name. So this is called concatenation now. You give a space and then you say, welcome to my birthday party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So let me welcome someone to a birthday party this evening. Who do we welcome? Tolu, should we welcome you? Hello, Tolu.
Yes.
All right, let's welcome Tolu. But this is not a birthday party now. So let's run our welcome statement first. So mind you, before I even run this to memory, let's run this so you can see the reason why I mentioned the error. It says name, birthday welcome is not what? Is not defined because it has not been in Python's memory. So let me run this and run this again. It says, hey, Tolu, welcome to my birthday party. Because I actually have what? The name in between my welcome statement here. Okay. So if I should improve this now and say, hey, Tolu, welcome to my birthday party. Let's see what we have. Let me run this again. So you can see hey, Tolu, because I added an exclamation mark here, right? So that is why a function is what is reusable. Let's welcome another person. Who do we welcome now? Someone should volunteer.
I can welcome the class.
Tokpe, right?
Okpe.
Okpe, okay.
Yeah.
Akinleye Okpeyemi. Let's welcome Okpeyemi. Please don't be shortening your name. All right. So, hey Okpeyemi, welcome to my birthday party. So you can see why functions are really, really what? Powerful. We do not need to start stressing ourselves, bringing up the functions quite often again. I mean, writing our code. Okay, so we can see for this now, we have two parameters, name and age. When we say info description is I am this and I am this age years old. Return info description. Okay, I'm sure you must have been, when you visit your bank, I don't know why the ATM is just coming to mind. Maybe because we all use it quite often, well, right? Or how many of us do not have a bank account here? Raise up your hand, though. I don't have a bank account. So that means we all have a bank account. That means we are all rich people here. Okay, even your mobile app on your phone, your mobile banking apps, once you log in, it will tell you welcome, maybe your first name is the placeholder for that. Say welcome to so person. How may we help you today? And all. Okay. So that's based on the function that has been written. Imagine you are logging into the application and the developer needs to wake up at that time and welcome you. Is that not going to be a lot of this? So functions help to what? Reduce man hour. And the beauty of it is this: if you log out of the application and another user logs in, they also get what? A customized feedback based on the what? The logged on user. So that is why functions are very, very what? Powerful. Functions are very powerful and we need to understand them. Okay, so for this now, it has two parameters. You just bring it in, info, and you say, let me put in a day here. So remember, always run your function to memory. It says, I am Ade and I am 19 years old based on the name, the values. Okay. All right. So this is where we'll be calling it a day on Python this evening. So we've taken a look at understanding lists and dictionaries, taking a look at our for loops and how to implement our functions. Do we have any questions? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. We can hear you. Hello.
Yes, we can. I can hear you, sir.
All right. I mean, do
Maybe
we
it's
have
the
any
network.
questions?
It's network.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. So the group has been open. We can send in our questions here. So on Fridays, that will be communicated with us on the group if there's going to be an office hour. So an office hour is where you come around in case you've proceeded to find your hands dirty on Python, okay, and you're encountering certain issues or challenges, come to the office hour for debugging, okay? If there's going to be for Friday, that will be communicated to us on the group chat. It's an optional session, okay? And it only holds in the morning on Friday, which is gonna run for like 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Okay, so it's optional. You might decide to attend or not. Okay, welcome, Lawson. How are you faring today? All right, so office hour is on Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30. If it's gonna hold, it will be communicated. But if we do not see much feedback, if we pull up a poll, then that means it won't hold. So from there, For as many that are for Power BI, we'll communicate their session with them as well. Okay, so you're looking forward to the video. That's a work in progress. Daniel. Okay, so in case if you have any questions to ask, but please, let's ask excellent questions. Okay, not repetitive questions. Okay. While the group is open. And
I can't hear you, sir.
we proceed. Mobile device. Let me know. Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Okay. Okay. That's doing now. That's great. Okay. So, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I don't have any question. Maybe when you drop the link to this particular class, now I'd like to go over it again and practice.
So let me pin class. You just see a pin, I'll drop on the group chat now.
Okay.
All right, can you see that?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So without further ado, I believe we can call it a day, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very big thank you to our sponsors and implementers of this program, IHS Towers of Strength, OVL Foundation, as well as Kratos Sustainability Consult. And a very big thank you to our participants, all the Niger youths in the house, for joining this evening session. So, see you same time, same station. I mean, that'll be on Monday of next week for our classes to continue. I will remain Abayomi Lola from NISA 84 Labs. And please remember to put up your learning out there, okay? And tag our sponsors. See IHS on LinkedIn, OVL Foundation on LinkedIn, Kratos Sustainability Consult on LinkedIn. In case if you have any issues, what have you, you can always reach out to the tutors or drop your messages on the group chat. Do have a great evening. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, everybody. See you later.